Hi everyone, this is another lightsaber review. This will be my second static hilt. I've already done a review for my static Graflex in A New Hope configuration. I'm going to put the card on the screen right now for that video. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. This is the Graflex 2.5 in A New Hope configuration. And I've just recently completed this one, which is in Empire Strikes Back configuration. So as you'll see, this is the difference between the two. The main differences between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back is in this clamp portion right here. That's immediately obvious that A New Hope had a bubble strip, and in ESB they started using the PCB circuit board. Also, in A New Hope, the clamp was facing to the left. If you put the bunny ears up and facing away from you, the clamp would point left with the lever up. In all the subsequent versions, like Empire Strikes Back, The Force Awakens, and so on, the clamp will always point to the opposite direction here, to the right. And those are the main two differences, but there's a lot of other kind of small modifications that they made between the two films to the prop. So I'll just put this aside for now and just focus on this. So as I said, this is a static build, so there's no electronics in it. I just use this for display. So the main body was a Graflex 2.5, which I bought from Corbanth, not directly from Corbanth. I think I got it from the custom saber shop. It costs $125, you get the whole kit. But when you do get Graflex 2.5s, they are inaccurate. They look nothing like this. But they're useful for the main body of the hilt. Obviously, the top, the middle portion. You know, some of these accessories can be used, although they're not too accurate. And what I did is, just over time, I just bought all my kind of favorite accessories from different stores, like the Graflex shop, etc., which I'll go over. And I just modified it until I was happy with its accuracy. So we'll start at the tip here from the emitter portion. These bunny ears, I kept the ones that came with the kit, Graflex 2.5. I know they're not 100% accurate because I think they're a little too tall, and there's something about the dome shape. I'm not an expert on bunny ears, but they look fine to me. You can get more accurate ones from the Graflex shop, but they are not cheap, and I just didn't want to faff with kind of changing this whole assembly, and it just felt like a waste to throw this away. So I just kept the bunny ears, but I did change the rivet that holds them in, because the kit one is an Allen head, and that doesn't look right. So it needs to be a kind of a rounded pinhead screw, which you can get from the Graflex shop with that spacer here in between. And I just put a little bit of glue here in the back, right here, just to hold it steady, and it's nice and secure. I mean, it wobbles a bit, but they all do that, that's fine. The blade plug is from KR Sabers, it's nothing fancy. Let's see, the red buttons, these are the most accurate red buttons on the market at the moment from the Graflex shop. There's two of them. A New Hope has just one, and it has a glass eye underneath. For ESB, they changed that. They put one on top, one on the bottom. So I left the bezel here and the thumb screw. This is a bezel, this, like, it threads in. This one is a thumb screw. I left the original ones, but I just changed the insert, the plastic red bit, and that comes from the Graflex shop, and it just glues in. Let's see, the pins. The pins that you get with the kit are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I just chose to get ones from the Graflex shop because they just have a little nicer shape and kind of a nicer finish to them. They're stepped. Yeah, the brass contacts here, just under that first pin over there. That's also from the Graflex shop. I could have shaved this blade holder down to insert it in, but I found that too hard to do. I didn't want to do that really, so I just cut off a little bit there and I just glued it on, and to me it looks fine. There's one on the other side. The screw that's here just underneath the emitter, the original one from the kit is again an Allen head screw. That's not accurate, so I changed it to this slotted screw. This came from KR Sabres, and you need to Dremel down a little bit to get it to sit flush. Yeah, the slide tab switch here, the one you get with the kit, again, is too shiny. It doesn't look right, so I got the one from the Graflex shop. The screw that goes on top is also from the Graflex shop. The one that comes with the kit is an Allen head. It's not accurate. But what I did do is, if you look closely, the original one is there. I just shaved it down. I just filed it down as close as I can to sit flush, and I mounted the other one on top of it. And the reason is, this Graflex shop one is a little too small for that opening here, and if you put it on its own, it just sinks in and kind of then sits flush with the rest of the hilt, which that's not right. It should kind of sit on top of it, almost like a cake. It should be kind of tiered on top. You don't need to do that. I mean, you could use some sort of a washer or something to kind of push it up, I suppose, but I just thought that, you know, let me try that. I'll use the original one, file it down so it's not too visible, and just mount the new one on top. It looks alright. I mean, unless you get really close and notice that there's two of them on top of each other, it's not a big deal. But, you know, from a distance, let me see if I can focus this. I mean, it looks right to me. Okay, so most of these, as I said, are from the Graflex shop, these modifications here on top. Here you'll notice that there's just a hole. In A New Hope there was a beer tab, and what they did for ESB is they just took it off for some reason. It might have just fallen out, I have no idea why, but this is accurate for the ESB version. There should be no beer tab. Okay. Yeah, so that completes the sort of the top third where most of the modifications really are. Moving down to the clamp. So the original clamp for A New Hope was, it had this stamping that said Graflex, and what they did for the second film is they just took a strip of shiny chrome metal and they just covered it so it wouldn't show in the movie. And so this is the end result, and you can get one of this is adhesive. It's just a strip of shiny adhesive. You can get these from Wonga, and you just kind of line it up nicely so it's kind of parallel to these grooves, and you just stick it round and it works perfectly. As I said, the clamp orientation should be 3 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock on this one, it's 3 o'clock on that one. You know, you just kind of, yeah, you just point the red button up, and you can twist it around if it's not perfect. Again, the lever. This lever came, this whole clamp, I just kept the original one from the kit. But the lever I changed. I got this lever from the Graflex shop, and this is an older version. The newer version they have now at the Graflex shop is not accurate, but these older ones are still floating around, so you might find them. And this is the way levers should look. It should be smooth and kind of rounded here. Okay, so some of the new ones that you get, like 89 Sabres, the newer Graflex shop, even Romans, they're not accurate because they have these kind of lines, and it's really kind of square shaped. That's not how it looked. A vintage Graflex lever should be nice and smooth over here, and down here the tip should be pretty rounded. Okay, so the best ones that I've found in terms of accuracy are the older gen TGS and the Custom Sabre shop, and some of the older Parks one also have quite nice, obviously a vintage. If you can find one that's not too expensive, that's best. Yeah, so that's a lever. Okay, clamp card. This comes from an Etsy shop, on a British Etsy shop. called Sky Wampa. The best clamp cards in the market are Sloth Furnace, but that's based in the US and they're not cheap. You know, one of these is probably like $15–20 plus, you know, international shipping is another $15–20. I didn't feel like I wanted to spend that much for a clamp card, so my next best option was to get something from here. Luckily, Sky Wampa is based in the UK. He makes amazing clamp cards. They're, you know, just slightly below like the next best thing after a Sloth Furnace. So this is called a vintage Otis clamp card for ESB, and it has these nice kind of square gold, and they're raised as well. If you touch over them, it's really nice quality. And then the soldering on top is silver, and that's how it should look. That's how it looked in the vintage ones. And also, if you notice, the lines aren't coming out from the center. Some of them are to the right, some are, you know, to the left, some are off-centered. That's how it should look. That's the most accurate version. The only other place that does that, as I said, is Sloth Furnace. So those are your two best options if you're looking for the most accurate ESB clamp card. And it's got a nice dark greenish finish in the background. I don't know how well you could see it on the camera, but it's beautiful. And this is the best one. I've used ones from Wonawonga, from lots of other places. Nothing comes close to how accurate this looks. Okay, so that's clamp and clamp card done. What comes next? Yep, the rear end here. So in the New Hope, they had 7 of these grips, and they had a slight angle to them. They were cut on an angle, as you can see here, like almost like a 30 to 45 degree angle, and they were straight down. There was no notch. For ESB, they redesigned them, or they might have used a different product, but there's 6 of them instead of 7, and they're cut straight. You can see they're kind of perpendicular to the hilt, and they have that notch in the back where the screw sits. And the best ones that you can get now, and this is a recent release, is from Wonawonga. Before that, you can use the ones that come with the kit. They're fine, but they're not accurate because the space of the notch here on the Corbath one is really, really wide, and that just doesn't look right. So these are from Wonawonga. You apply a little bit of 3M double-sided tape to the back. You line them up carefully, and then you stick them on, and they're absolutely beautiful. So there's 6 of them, and the notch here is perfectly spaced. So that gap there is not too big, it's not too small. And these black Phillips screws, there's 6 of them. Again, these are from Wonawonga, but you can pick these up at any hardware store. That finishes the look. Let's see what else. Right here, the pommel. This is the same as that. Both of them have this stamping that says Graflex, 3-cell, etc. Now this obviously doesn't come with Corbath, but what this is a disc that you can get from KR Sabers, and you can put it on top of your pommel and then just rivet the two together. And then it looks like a vintage. So this is the same pommel cap from KR Sabers. A New Hope obviously had a D-ring. ESB had a Cobalt. The one that comes with the kit is not accurate. It's small, it's a different shape, it's shiny, it's chrome. This is the best one on the market, and it's from Wonawonga. It has a really nice kind of dull finish. And there are 2 versions of this at Wonawonga. One has 2 small side holes and one doesn't. The one that doesn't is for the Force Awakens. The one with the 2 small holes is for ESB, and it comes with a pair of 4mm rivets and a D-ring, obviously. And that's it, I think. I think I've covered it all. Okay, so that is not properly aligned, but with the score band one, it's pretty easy. You just undo it. There we go. So I want the clamp to face 3 o'clock from the bunny ears. There we go. And that grip here needs to come right in like that. And then just close the clamp lever down. Basically what you're trying to achieve is that the D-ring should point 180 degrees or directly away from the clamp card. So clamp card is facing up, D-ring is facing directly down from it, like that. That's the proper orientation. And then 90 degrees from that is the top of the saber. And that's the correct alignment for ESB. So there it is, side by side. Graflex 2.5, a New Hope version on the right, Graflex 2.5, Empire Strikes Back version on the left here. Lots of modifications. The Graflex shop, KR sabers, Onawanga, Sky One per clamp card. These are some of the best stores in the market for Graflex modifications. This is just my take on it. A lot of guys, there are other really great quality Graflexes. KR Sabers, which is now sold out. The Graflex shop is probably the best. Romans is maybe second best, but only by a little bit. 89 Sabers is probably a similar sort of tier to Korbath and 2.5. Yeah, that's it. So if you guys have any questions about Graflexes, about any of these modifications that I did, feel free to leave a comment. I have one more to do, which is the TFA version, because there's 3 main Graflexes: A New Hope, ESB, and TFA. The ones from Revenge of the Sith and the Rise of Skywalker are really different, so I won't be covering those. And yeah, the TFA will be my next video, so I look forward to seeing you all again soon, and thank you for joining me. See you in the next one.